Oh, hey, sorry guys, I didn't realize we were recording already. I was really into this book. Actually, listen for a second. It was in the middle of winter, when the broad flakes of snow were falling around, that a certain queen sat working at a window, the frame of which was made of fine black ebony. And as she was looking out upon the snow, she pricked her finger, and 3 drops of blood fell upon it. Then she gazed thoughtfully upon the red drops which sprinkled the white snow, and said, "Would that my little daughter may be as white as that snow, and as red as the blood, and as black as the ebony window frame." And so the little girl grew up. Her skin was as white as snow, her cheeks as rosy as the blood, and her hair as black as ebony, and she was called Snow White. But this queen died, and the king soon married another wife, who was very beautiful, but so proud that she could not bear to think that anyone could surpass her. She had a magical looking glass to which she used to go and gaze upon herself in it and say, "Tell me, glass, tell me true, of all the ladies in the land, who is the fairest, tell me who?" And the glass answered, "Thou, queen, art fairest in the land." But Snow White grew more and more beautiful, and when she was 7 years old, she was as bright as the day and fairer than the queen herself. Then the glass one day answered the queen when she went to consult it as usual, "Thou, queen, mayest fair and beauteous be, but Snow White is lovelier far than thee." I'm sure you're familiar with Snow White, but I bet you'd be surprised to find out that her story doesn't play out like you might think it does. Most of you have heard of characters like Snow White, Sleeping Beauty, and Cinderella. In fact, they're all in this book, but these stories are not the ones you've heard before. The characters you're probably thinking of are the animated princesses from the faraway magical lands of the kingdoms of Sir Disney. Now, don't get me wrong, their stories are great, but what I have here is quite different than the tales you're used to. Here, the heroes and villains are willing to fight harder for what they want. So this is a collection of Grimm's fairy tales, written by the brothers Jacob and Wilhelm Grimm. In this special edition that I have, the fairy tales are accompanied by the beautiful illustrations of Noel Peacock. If you're not familiar with the Grimm brothers, they were 2 German men that set out to preserve the German folk tales people used to tell each other aloud. The brothers originally collected over 200 German folk tales into 2 volumes called the Kinder und Hausmärchen. Over the years, the brothers refined and edited their stories, and what we have here are the 55 of the brothers Grimm's most beloved tales translated into English. You'll find other characters you know, such as Rumpelstiltskin, Tom Thumb, Hansel and Gretel, and Little Red Riding Hood. But don't be alarmed if you find your favorite characters a bit, shall we say, different than you remember them. Imagine, for instance, Cinderella without her fairy godmother, and her sisters more wicked and sinister than you've known before. You'll have to read to find out how your favorite fairy tales actually happened. Oh, and you'll meet characters you've never heard of before, like Catskin, the princess leading a double life as a scullery maid to escape the odd future her father has planned for her. Or perhaps you'll like the story of the young maiden who narrowly escapes marrying a wealthy yet murderous fiend. These stories and many more will introduce you to a world of fairy tales that don't mind taking a walk on the dark side every once in a while. To find this Barnes & Noble Special Edition collection or other collections of Grimm stories, visit your local library today.